Nah, let me reintroduce myself, Max. I'm DD Benjamin, and I sure don't answer to you. Back off. What are you gonna do, DD? What you gonna do? Push me like you did to JJ? Boy, I promise you that if you lay one finger on me, you'll regret it. Try me, I dare you. Are you crazy? I'm not gonna touch you. Nah, I ain't crazy. But you sure are, talking to me the way you just did. What's going on here? You really think that Isabel will take your father back? I feel like there's a good chance this time. I still don't like the idea of you being with Finnegan, but I don't think it's fair that you don't even get a chance to be happy, Mom. No, Alan, I don't think it's fair either. Pacho Torres is endorsing Owen. If you don't want to ever hear Owen gloating about winning the election, then I suggest you endorse me, Udell. I asked you guys a question. What's happening here? Bye, Didi. Is someone gonna say something? I'll tell you what's happening, Guzan. Your boyfriend was trying to intimidate me. What are you doing in my hotel, Harley? I just came here to enjoy a nice, simple meal. You kicked me out of my hotel room, remember? But since you're here, Isabel, Alan informed me that your son is getting involved in politics. I'm sure you're proud. What my son involves himself in doesn't concern you. You're right. It doesn't concern me. But what does concern me is that you're still Esador's favorite person since you warned him about Pacho's actions. Thank you so much for making the public endorsement for me. I wouldn't be surprised if I noticed the support for my campaign to skyrocket Mr. Torres. Have you forgotten that I denied your request to endorse you, Heidi? Would you rather see Owen Grant become the next district attorney? Because if he does, then he'll gain influence. Enough influence to convince your wife to become his friend again. That's not what happened, Vanessa. You're gonna try to make my cousin think I'm a liar? I'm not saying that, Didi. Time out. Everyone, take a breather and start from the beginning. Your boyfriend here interrupted my conversation with Yvette. That part is true. But I only tried to approach Didi because Alan found out that I pushed JJ. All I did was inform Esador that Pacho is endorsing ADA Grant. It wasn't a warning. To be honest, I don't see the difference. I don't care what you think, Harley. You really should. How come? Because you don't want to make the same mistake both of us have made, falling in love with Esador Russo. There's a lot of work to get done before the next election day. It'll be here before we know it, which means that we have to make every single day count. And D.A. Russo definitely has the same mindset. I bet she's panicking right now that she knows that I'm endorsing your campaign, which makes her more of a threat, Mr. Torres. You're gonna have plenty of powerful enemies coming your way. Let me worry about my marriage, and I'll let you worry about keeping your position as DA. This is me worrying about keeping my position. Oh really? You actually think you'll convince me to help you when you try to put my daughter in prison? It's almost like you refuse to admit that your little girl actually committed a crime, Udell, a crime against my son. So an endorsement is something that you owe me. Why does Alan, knowing what you did, give you the right to interrupt my conversations? Because either you or JJ told my cousin about what happened, something that he could always hold over my head. JJ claimed that he didn't speak with Alan. You confronted JJ about this, Max? Are you surprised, Vanessa? He's been trying to push my buttons ever since he woke up out of his coma. If JJ didn't tell Alan, then that only means Didi informed him about it. What makes you think that I'm falling in love with Esador? You could have informed Heidi about your son's decision. Instead, you went to Esador because I needed him to ensure that Heidi wouldn't go after my child. And why do you think that Essador would grant your request? I don't need to answer you, Harley. You just did, Isabel. You knew that Essador would grant your request because you know that man will love you until he takes his last breath. Let me remind you that falling for the love he has for you will be a huge mistake. I'm not intimidated by the tricks the Russos or their little friends will throw at them. There's no doubt that you're a fearless man, Mr. Torres, but the Russos will throw unexpected curveballs at you. What do you mean? D.A. Russo might seek an endorsement from Udell Mitchell. Why would Heidi do something like that? I don't owe you a single thing, Heidi. Because if you succeeded in what you wanted to do, then I'd be visiting my daughter in juvie. And your daughter's lies would have forced me to visit my son in his grave if the Dorval kids didn't show up on time. Yvette will regret her lies for the rest of her life. But you don't seem to care. Let's look at the facts. Your precious daughter isn't in prison, so how about we get over it and help me keep my position as DA? Even if Dee Dee spoke with Alan, I don't appreciate you approaching her the way that you did. Vanessa, 2 people in your family are trying to make our lives difficult. Clearly, you're not in the best mood right now. Let me handle this. Not until I know what your cousin's issue is with me. Get out of my face, Max. Now. As for you, we're gonna have to have a long, serious talk. I don't need your advice, Harley. Not when the man you chose to love couldn't prevent his son from hunting down my daughter. This isn't relationship advice. I'm telling you about my experience with Essador. You two kept falling into one another's arms even after your initial relationship ended. As for me, when Essador and I divorced, we were over for good. Think about that. Wanda Mitchell and I used to be good friends, and Udell didn't approve of it. Were you and Wanda more than just good friends, Owen? The 2 of us were just friends. If that's the case, then you have nothing to worry about. Since you're so eager for me to endorse you, are you gonna find a way to have Yvette pardoned? That's not happening, Udell. Let me remind you that Owen wouldn't have entered your life if your daughter hadn't lied about Max. Again, we don't have to like each other, but have I caused more damage in your life? Or has Owen? I think I know the answer. Since the 2 of us clearly have a common enemy, we can work together to stop him. And once the election is over, you and I can live our separate lives. What do you say?